The siege of Gaza, a dangerous act of defiance in the face of injustice.
They're only trying to scare us.
An extraordinary act of solidarity with the Palestinian people.
Al Jazeera World at this time.
This is Al Jazeera, and these are the stories making the headlines. Pro-reform unrest in Libya has spread to the capital, Tripoli, and protesters in Benghazi are now claiming to be in control of the eastern city. Muammar Gaddafi's son Saif has appeared on state television warning of civil war and declaring that his father was in charge with the army's backing.
The
leader, Muammar Gaddafi, is leading the battle, and armed forces are with him, and tens of thousands are coming to Tripoli in his support. We will not give up Libya. We will fight until the last man, the last woman, until the last bit of energy.
We're also hearing reports that a second Libyan diplomat has quit. The country's ambassador to India says he's now resigned in protest at the government's crackdown on protesters. It follows Libya's envoy to the Arab League, who's also stepped down. Anti-government demonstrators in Bahrain have spent another night camping out in the capital, Manama. Hundreds of people are still at the Pearl roundabout following the withdrawal of the army. A general strike was suspended as the protesters discussed their next step. Some are urging opposition parties not to enter talks with the government. A court in India has upheld the death sentence handed down to the sole surviving gunman of the 2008 Mumbai attacks. Muhammad Ajmal Amir Kasab was found guilty in May for his part in a wave of attacks which killed 166 people and injured more than 300 others. But his lawyers appealed, saying they weren't given enough time to read the 11,000-page charge sheet at the beginning of the case. At least 7 people have been killed in a drone strike in the western border of Pakistan. The attack, first in weeks, took place in the town in south Waziristan. At least 4 missiles were fired from unmanned US aircraft. Pakistani intelligence officials say the 7 killed were suspected militants. There's been a suicide attack at a Somali government security camp in Mogadishu. According to security officials, a suicide attacker detonated an explosive-laden vehicle at a base used by police units. The number of casualties is not yet known. Iceland's president has called for a new referendum over the $5 billion the country owes to Britain and the Netherlands. New repayment terms have been hammered out following the country's financial collapse and the failure of the iSave bank 2 years ago. Of course, you can follow all of those stories on our website at aljazeera.net/English. We'll have more news at the top of the hour. Next, it's Frost over the world.
Welcome back, welcome back. Well, in case you hadn't noticed, it's the movie awards season and the run-up to the Oscars. I'm joined now by one of this year's main contenders, the award-winning Mexican film director Alejandro González Iñárritu. His latest film, Beautiful, has been nominated, despite it's misspelled, isn't it, the word beautiful? But never mind. Anyway, nominated for 2 Academy Awards, Best Foreign Language Film and Best Actor for Javier Bardem. Iñárritu's breakthrough happened over 10 years ago with his debut film, Amores Perros, which was also nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, and followed by the internationally acclaimed films 21 Grams and Babel. Alejandro is here with me now. But first, let's take a look at Beautiful. In this clip, the father, who's dying of cancer, is giving final gifts to his 2 children.
No me la metas en la nariz, ¿eh? ¿Qué es? ¿Un moco?
Esto es una cosa que quiero que tengáis y que guardéis de vuestro padre. ¿Vale? Lo vas a guardar. De verdad. ¿Seguro? ¿Lo vas a guardar?
Sí.
Pues vamos a comer la tarta, ¿no?
Why is death rather than life, death such a theme, everybody asks the question, I'm sure, such a theme of your films, going back to the death trilogy at the beginning, etc.?
Since I was a kid, I have been very obsessed by death. Just the thought of it really excites me intellectually. Yeah,
Intellectually.
I think intellectually is the most exciting thought. I think nobody has returned to tell us exactly what it is, and that's the biggest question of human beings since the man exists, I guess. So it excites me intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, challenge me. It's a struggle all the time, and I think that affects the way you live, the way you perceive things. And I try that my films are not films about death, because I love life, but it's about life being observed through death. I mean, I put the camera in the final line. So when you observe life at the end of the life, at the end of the road, I think life is just different. That's the case of Beautiful, I guess.
Do you believe that there is an afterlife? Do you believe that you will be enjoying one in 60 years' time, let's say?
Sometimes I would like to believe, sometimes I would like not to believe. I did a lot of research for make this film, and one of the guys that really, a woman that was very impressive, she told me, Alejandro, you know, death is just the beginning of a long and painful road. And I said, really? I thought that life was already a very intense journey. I said, no, people think that is the end. It's just the beginning of a very long
journey. But you have to be an atheist, presumably, to think it's a long and painful road. If you're a Christian or a believer, you presumably think it's the beginning of a long and joyous road.
Exactly. But I think that depends on where you are at your life. That's what I'm saying, that intellectually as an idea, death is just an idea. We don't know what it is. So the idea is changed depending on our circumstances. That's what is fascinating, you know. I think it depends in many things. So that's why it's a battle all the time for me, that I would like to believe in one way. And that's why I was privileged to explore this theme in a film and make a film about that. That was fantastic for me, I have to say.
Do you prepare for death?
Well, I think that as we have to learn how to live, I think we have to learn a little bit how to be prepared for that moment that is inevitable. And I think that one thing that I'm sure about it is that Western cultures in the United States, they are thanatophobic. They are phobic to thanatos. They don't want to talk about that. It's almost like a taboo. And they reject that. They take out death as part of the conversation, as part of life. And I think that as we integrate death as a way that we will be, as part of the life, we will be happier. I think to think that the illusion to strip death from our thought, it will make us happier, is not true, because I think when you know that something will be finite, then you enjoy it more, you appreciate it more, and you don't take it for granted. Animals are the only, I would say, live creatures that are immortals, because they don't know that they will die, but we know that we will die, and that gives us an advantage, because we can bite and enjoy life because we know that it will finish. And that, I think, make people feel and live life much more plenty.
Right.
That's what I think.
And talking